what's going on, guys? It is Foxy298 here. Welcome back to a brand new episode of my F1 2018 career mode for you guys today here on the channel. So we're here for the Bahrain Grand Prix, and as you can see straight away off the bat, we've got our first upgrade which is coming in, which is just a general wear for the durability. Because obviously, I feel like this season, as well as developing mainly the chassis and the aero, I feel like the durability is going to be an area of the car that I'm going to need to work on quite a bit. If I am going to continue to fight for a championship, I need to make sure the car is durable so I can take less penalties come the end of the season. But heading into the Bahrain Grand Prix then, into practice, and I didn't actually feel that comfortable in practice around here. I just didn't quite get to grips with the car. However, in my problems, I actually only did practice in FP1 when it was in normal daytime conditions, and that may have paved the way. As you can see here, first of all then, on the tyre wear test, just got onto the curb there, and back end stepped out on me, and that's something that I've noticed obviously on this game as well. The curbs are less forgiving, and if you really do abuse the curbs, it's going to throw you off. So I hit that curb there, just puts me out of shape then for the rest of it. This is on the fuel saving now, and then back end just goes away from me. And we lose that heavily there in that sense. And then also then in the qualifying simulation program that I tried, I didn't even hit the target. I was miles off, and yeah, things were just not looking good in the practice session. I should have definitely done all of my practice programs in the night, so I actually had a good reference point of when I was going to be, of what my pace was going to be like, but I just decided to try and do it in FP1. And then from there, as soon as I fail it, that's sort of like my rule I'm kind of making. Like, if I fail the program, I'm not going to do it again. That's just me failing, and that means that it costs me resource points and kind of adds a little bit to it in this race. But we'll see.
The cars are ready, the drivers are ready. We hope you're ready as qualifying is about to begin here in Bahrain.
Alright, so we're here then for the qualifying session, and first of all then, in Q1, Vettel fastest on a 1:28.4. Vettel's actually qualified on the soft tyres, but we come across the line then, and we go ahead and set the fastest lap of this qualifying session. We're already doing better in qualifying than we were last race, when obviously we crashed out, which was a bit of a pain. But as you can see then, we actually got fastest in Q1, which is quite encouraging, but of course, we still haven't got a respective lap time from Hamilton and Vettel yet. They both set their lap times on soft tyres, whereas I set mine on the super soft tyres, and we went from there. Moving on then into Q2, and I actually decided to go ahead and start on, I wanted to start on the soft tyres for the race itself. I wanted to try the one stop and see how it was like around here, and you can see the back end sliding a little bit there, so I'm not expecting a very good lap time for myself, and as you can see across the line, it's about 7/10 of a second shy on Sebastian Vettel, which is kind of where I was expecting to be, considering the tyre compound. And we do manage to get through into Q3. The only man to actually qualify on the soft tyres as well, down there in P8. So yeah, it's kind of it's interesting to see how that pans out. But of course, come Q3, we've now got a great opportunity to go ahead and pick up potentially a pole position. But of course, I'm not going to give myself that much expectations. On my first flying lap though, here you can see that we're coming around this final hairpin there, and I actually made a mistake on my first lap, and this lap's pretty much just showing how much of a banker lap this was. And this is the beauty of Q3, getting the opportunity to do 2 runs. Once again, braking too deep, going wide, just getting caught on the curb a little bit there. A bit cautious as well, because I don't really know when's the best place to actually get back on the power after, of course, having your issues. And then, of course, you can see that Raikkonen, Hamilton, they're all setting faster lap times. And eventually, you can kind of tell that this lap is going to be pretty much all but useless for us, because, of course, we're miles down, and we've just had a very shocking lap round the final corner, and coming up towards the start-finish line. This is going to be very far down the order, but, of course, luckily, like I said, we are going to have a second opportunity to try and put play to that. And as you can see, we're already up in this on this second lap here, and we haven't even got to the points where we struggled. Coming through this hairpin corner, you can see that we got it right this time around. I took a little bit more curve than I probably would have wanted to, and that sort of unsettled the car a bit more. This time though, nailed the apex, nailed the outside line of the curb there. Much cleaner lap than compared to last time. We're currently in P6 at the moment, but of course any driver can improve their lap times, and we actually go fastest out of anybody in the middle sector. So we're on to an absolutely flying lap. Back end slept out a little bit there as the tyres start to scream just a little bit now, after I've just literally been ruining them for this entire lap. Now we come towards the final corner, we brake a little bit earlier and lose a little bit of time there on the apex there, and as we manage to go wide there, letting the car just float out a little bit towards the start-finish line. It is going to be technically fastest, but it didn't end up being fastest. We actually dropped to P4, despite the fact we did set a pole position lap time. Of course, then obviously the two Ferraris and also Hamilton went ahead and improved. But a close qualifying session there, but annoyingly for me, we do miss out on the qualifying pole position time, which is a little bit of a shame there, but that's what it is. So Vettel starts on pole position ahead of Lewis Hamilton, ahead of Kimi Raikkonen, and then myself, 2 Red Bulls, and then obviously we've got Haas, Renault. Alright, so as you can see then, we're looking at the rivalry now, and you can see we're actually losing the rivalry to Hamilton at the moment, which is not a very ideal situation, but of course, we're going to try our best and improve that in the coming races. And of course, this is what I mean, we can't afford to lose these rivalries, but when you've just started a new game, doesn't necessarily help your cause. We've got 1,000 resource points, which is all very, very good there. And having a look at the rest there, you can see that we're kind of in the middle for everything else, and Emma is just pretty much giving us a debrief. But without further ado, let's get into the race for the Bahrain Grand Prix.
The curtain rises once more then on the desert stage of Sakir as the players take their places for the opening act. Will they enthrall us like they did in 2014 with that titanic battle between Nico Rosberg and Lewis Hamilton? Well, we'll find out shortly as we get underway here in Bahrain. We'll be racing around 3.36 miles of the magnificent Bahrain International Circuit today, with 15 corners and 2 DRS zones into turns 1 and turn 11. That should create some good passing opportunities. Keep an eye out for drivers locking the front left down into the tricky braking zone of turn 10. Bahrain has showed us many times in the past though, Anthony Davidson, that a good strategy will only take you so far. Beyond that, you need good racecraft and you need good consistency.
And a little bit of luck too, I'd say. This is one of those circuits where the safety car always seems to come out just at the right time to condense the field together and mix up the cars on different strategies. It's hard on brakes, it's tough on fuel, and the main overtaking opportunity is down into turn 1, where it's easy to outbrake your opponent and potentially have a bit of argy-bargy as well.
Well then, after an exciting qualifying session yesterday, let's take a look at how the cars line up. Sebastian Vettel has a clear track ahead of him today. He starts in pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Raikkonen, Thomas, Daniel Ricciardo, and Verstappen, Grosjean, Hülkenberg, Perez, and Carlos Sainz, Alonso, Hartley, Stoffel Van Dorn, and Gasly, Ocon, Stroll, Sergei Sirotkin, and Kevin Magnussen. Ericsson and Charles Leclerc rounds off the grid. And now it's time to head down to the track.
Okay then, so we're here now ready to start the Bahrain Grand Prix. Obviously, starting on the soft tyres, and as you can see here, the strategy is actually still stating a 2-stop race, despite the fact that we're starting on the soft tyres, and I didn't really want to do that. I kind of wanted to try and do the 1-stop, so I went ahead and edited the second strategy option that you can do, and I couldn't get rid of the 2-stop. It's saying that I had to do a 2-stop no matter what, so I just decided to just basically ignore it. So technically, we're still pitting for a set of soft tyres, but we're not really. We're just going to go to the end on the medium tyres and see how we can get on. Hopefully, we've got enough pace in the car to do that. But of course, the 1-stop seems to be very, very powerful. And in a top car, it probably is. But anyway, we're on the grid now here for the Bahrain Grand Prix. We've got 5 red lights here for the start of this Grand Prix, and it's lights out. There we go here to start the Bahrain Grand Prix. It's been a good start from Sebastian Vettel. It's also been a great start for both of the Red Bulls behind. They're actually going to put me under a bit of pressure here. Of course, running those soft tyres isn't going to help as I sort of just put my car in towards turn 1 here. Hamilton chops me off slightly there, but luckily we stay in front of him. We do get the jump though on Kimi Raikkonen in the Ferrari, which is critical for us as we now go down the straight here. Vettel leads the way. Hamilton up into second place now, or stays in second place. We are now up into third. Try to have a look at Lewis Hamilton. Actually run deep in towards turn 4. Ricciardo has a little look there, but he's just a little bit too far back. as we now try and settle into the Grand Prix in P3. And as you can see now, coming towards the end of the first lap, Hamilton and Vettel already starting to pull away early on in this Grand Prix as my tyres take that a little bit longer to warm up and get into a good optimal range for attacking here. And Ricciardo now tries to go down the inside in towards the last corner. Ricciardo actually backs out of it quite early, and that sort of put me off there because actually ran wide on the exit, the final corner there. But we carry on our way. Ricciardo now under some pressure from Kimi Raikkonen here, and I noticed that Raikkonen was slipstreaming and attacking Ricciardo, so I actually pulled very deep towards the inside line to just stop the extra slipstream, because the slipstream is really powerful on this game, of course, with the ERS system that really paves an effect to it, as Raikkonen now does get past Daniel Ricciardo, and he moves himself up into P4, and now he's going to try and fight me and get back that P3 that he lost at the start. And once again, running a little bit deeper towards turn 4, that puts me off, and the Raikkonen, tries to get past, but already signs of struggling in this start of this race, and of course not doing a race strategy program just because it's 3 boring laps, which I don't really want to do. Not really off to the best of starts here, and again back end sliding a little bit on the exit of the final corner. That's going to give Raikkonen a great opportunity now as we make the charge down the pit straight here. It is myself versus Kimi Raikkonen, the first time really this season that it's been a Mercedes versus Ferrari duel now as we go in towards the first corner, and we stay in front of Kimi Raikkonen for the time being, but evidently I'm under some huge pressure, and of course any big mistakes that I make which lets Raikkonen through is also going to let Ricciardo through as well, because he's right on the back of it as Raikkonen finds a little bit of a groove now and he tries to go for it towards turn 4, but he actually decides against it. However, for us, we now need to try and think of a way to actually pull away from Kimi Raikkonen. But onto lap 4 of the Grand Prix, we still can't quite pull away from him. Hamilton and Vettel are taking off at the moment, so at this stage of the race, our strategy is not working very well. As we're on board with Kimi Raikkonen here, down the pit straight now, you can see that he's got slipstream, he's got DRS, he's got a very funny mirror, which does lots of flashing and stuff, and he has a little look in towards turn 1, but that's a very similar Bottas replica there to real life, when Bottas had a little look in towards the first corner on Sebastian Vettel on the final lap, and sort of just covered it off there into the first corner. On to lap 5 of the Grand Prix now, and once again we're just in the same place at the same time. Of course, we just can't quite pull away from Raikkonen, and of course this track is just full of just straight line, and of course that Ferrari, as we go a little bit wide on the exit of the corner there, is no slouch in a straight line. And once again, that exit didn't really put us in the best position to defend against Raikkonen, who blasts down the pit straight here, and now he's on the back of myself and in towards the first corner. He's actually got the move done here, but we just again make our car very, very annoying to Raikkonen and get past him, and that actually puts Raikkonen off, and Ricciardo nicks through there into 4th place, and it steals a position from Kimi Raikkonen. Now Ricciardo up the hill now, Raikkonen is going to come towards him now as they go in towards turn 4. Raikkonen sort of breaks, tries a switchback line, but Ricciardo just about covers it off there and stops Raikkonen from getting through there. So clever moves there from Ricciardo. So we now look at the lap 6 of the Grand Prix. Hamilton pits for his first stop of the Grand Prix. We go flying past there, and we're up into the lead of the Grand Prix as Vettel has already stopped. He actually stopped on the end of lap 5, so Hamilton has gone a lap longer in this Grand Prix. So Vettel has covered off Hamilton's potential undercut threat, but has that actually worked in his favour, or has Hamilton gone ahead and done the overcut? He's going to rejoin a lot of traffic here. He rejoins just behind Stoffel Van Dorn, and as you can see, that didn't work because there's the Ferrari of Vettel there. So Vettel, by pitting a lap earlier, has actually put himself in the traffic, and that's exactly why I've gone ahead and not stayed on the 1 stop, because to avoid this traffic that's going to come through now. As Hamilton here has a look on Stoffel Van Dorn now in the McLaren, and we're just having a little look through all of them now as Vettel has a little look on Sergei Sorokin in towards the left-hander, but he doesn't quite make it stick, and he sort of put his nose in there, which is interesting. You never really see AIs try and have a look there, but for Vettel's sake, he's trying everything he can to get past Sorokin, and he needs to, because they're just losing time. And all the time that Vettel and Hamilton gained by doing this, and speaking of Hamilton, he's now going to try and go around the outside of Van Dorn in towards the last corner. This is going to be a little bit close for Van Dorn and Hamilton, but he just about makes it stick there to Stoffel Van Dorn. Now Hamilton, with the straight line speed, can come and attack back at Stoffel Van Dorn, but he's also got the slipstream of Ocon. He breezes past Stoffel Van Dorn. Now he goes towards the inside for Esteban Ocon, and down the inside in towards turn 1. Hamilton sticks it on Esteban Ocon, and that's a great double overtake there from Lewis Hamilton, and that is pretty much going to help him clear the majority of the traffic. And we've got a little bit of squabbling there between one of the Sauers, I think, And also Ricciardo's in there as well. Yeah, he's attacking Sorokin and Charles Leclerc, all having a fight here. And Raikkonen is just behind this lot. So Ricciardo still in front of Kimi Raikkonen in this stage of the race. But Ricciardo can't find a way past the Sauber and the Williams because they're fighting each other. And speaking of all this fighting, Vettel now is on the back of the Toro Rosso. But annoyingly for me, and for all the fighting, he doesn't actually pass him. But Stoffel Van Dorn, though, is deciding he wants to get in front of Esteban Ocon, and down the inside, Ocon has to defend that position as Van Dorn forces the outside line, and then Ocon just chops him off a little bit there, and he tries to carry on his way now as Raikkonen goes down the inside of Daniel Ricciardo, so he's taken the place back off Ricciardo, who's obviously got stuck behind Charles Leclerc, and now Ricciardo will try and fight this one back. He's got the straight line speed. He's going to do pretty much a replica of what Raikkonen did in towards turn 4, tries that switchback line, and it just doesn't work for him, so he couldn't try and do what Raikkonen couldn't. And speaking further in front now, Hamilton is doing the best at clearing the traffic at the moment, and now he's coming up to the back of Fernando Alonso, and he's actually going to go down the inside here. On the end of the DRS straight. A little bit of contact actually between the two cars there. That was a little bit feisty, but Hamilton makes it stick. And Fernando Alonso has to sit back and relax. But as you can see then, onto lap 12 of the Grand Prix, I'm just in nice clear air at the moment. And this was kind of the route to take. We're coming in now for our one and only stop. The tyres were absolutely amazing. They got to this, they got exactly where I needed them to be. And now you can see that we're coming in for our first stop of the Grand Prix onto the medium tyres. And this should take us to the end of the race. And it basically just gets us out of the traffic. It just stops what we've just seen. Of course, it would have been awesome if you see compared to me and all the others fighting through the traffic. But I wanted to see what the one-stop is like. I've seen so many videos of people doing a one-stop and it being very, very good in some circumstances. So I thought I'd give it a go myself. And as you can see here, we just about rejoined in front of Fernando Alonso in the McLaren. But obviously, he didn't quite have the traction that we did. And then we're behind Vettel as well. But comparing it, look at that. Vettel is going through turn 4. I can see Vettel's name tag. So you can tell how powerful the overcut is just by that screenshot there of Vettel right in front of me. And onto lap 14 of the Grand Prix, actually, Vettel is struggling on his tyres. Or he's struggling with something. Maybe he's struggling on his tyres. Maybe he's just harvesting energy. But I'm not harvesting energy. I've got fresh tyres. And I've got a nice, good, old, juicy Mercedes power unit in the back of my car. So, Sebastian Vettel, I kind of want P2, and I'm not going to take P2 via you coming into the pits. I'm going to try and pass him. So as you can see then, we open up the DRS then, and Vettel now under some pressure here as we go down the straight now. We're in overtake mode here, and as you can see, this is going to be quite a simple move actually. As you can see, going down the inside on Sebastian Vettel, and that's quite a satisfying one, overtaking Vettel, and just breezing past him there. And that pretty much salvages us to finish in front of Sebastian. As Billy, in fact, speaking, said he's going to come back at us in towards turn 4. He goes to the outside line. So Vettel actually got a great drive out of turn 3 there and tried the run up the hill towards turn 4, but he just doesn't have the pace for it. And now on to lap 16 of the Grand Prix. Only Lewis Hamilton is really a major threat for me now as he comes in towards the pits. But weirdly, on to lap 16, Hamilton pits for a set of medium tyres. He's only got to go and do another 13 laps in the Grand Prix, so he can easily get away with doing soft tyres to the end of the race. But for some reason, it seems like the AIs are going to be doing super soft, soft, and then medium, which is quite a weird strategy choice. So if I actually did the two-stop race, I probably could have gone ahead and maybe potentially attacked them on the final stint. But because Hamilton came into the pits, and because my pace was so strong actually in the final portion of the lap, it didn't actually matter. We came across the line and we win the Bahrain Grand Prix, doing the one stop and making it count when it mattered there. So Hamilton finishes up in second place as well then, so it is going to be a 1-2 for Mercedes-Benz. But yeah, as soon as everyone came in to do their second stops, I was kind of just in a world of my own, and I just had the pace to do it, which was absolutely amazing. And obviously the first stint, we had to defend hard from Kimi Raikkonen. I felt like if we lost out at the start of the race, it maybe could have cost us a lot more in the latter stages, because we would have fallen even further back. But we kept pace with the top two. They got held up in some serious traffic, and then obviously the traffic paid dividends. We managed to make the one-stop work. If Hamilton and Vettel had that clean air, don't think I would have been able to have caught them. But they got stuck in traffic, and that's racing. That's what it is. Sometimes you win a race by doing loads of overtakes. Sometimes you do this type of race. You win a race by strategy. And that's exactly what we did today. We made the one-stop work. And but overall, you can't complain. It's a 1-2 for Mercedes-Benz. That is what the team needed, and we already are off to a flying start in this season. And as you can see, a 1-2 for Mercedes-Benz, beating the 2 Ferraris here today. Fernando Alonso, P5 for McLaren, is an absolutely sensational drive for him, and Sergei Sorokin finishes last. But there you go. That's what happens when you drive a Williams. But as you can see, then it's a 1-2. That's all we can ask for. And having a look at the standings, then we lead the World Championship by 3 points over Kimi Raikkonen. Of course, Raikkonen picking up a win and also a third place, maybe? I don't even know. And obviously we managed to get a first and a second, but we're 3 points clear of Kimi Raikkonen. And I forgot to show the constructor standings because I'm a pleb.
Good day today. Tell us about it from your perspective. You really looked in control of your car out there. Your team must be thrilled. You took the top points today. Was it a comfortable win? Well, looks like your luck has changed. Things went a lot better than last weekend, didn't they? You were cutting your way through the field during the race. Great. Well, that's everything.
So yeah, then overall, I kind of basically, in that interview, I made sure that I put all my answers towards the aero department, because I felt like I was just lacking in that section throughout all of practice, and it just, as soon as we had to hit to qualifying, there was just a complete transformation, and it was absolutely awesome. But that is going to be it for this episode of my F1 2018 career mode. And we actually got ahead and beat our team goal, which was to have, I think it was to qualify in like 6th or above. That's 400 resource points for free. But there you go, guys. If you have enjoyed today's episode, feel free to drop it a like, subscribe if you're new around here as well. And I'll see you guys next time where we'll be heading to the Chinese Grand Prix, where hopefully our upgrades will arrive to make us, hopefully, get us a jump on Ferrari. But until then, guys, I will see you then. Take care all.